Blue Justin here, still Justin, still not blue, and it's time for my October haul. Actually, it was time for my October haul a couple of weeks ago, but I got delayed, and then I got delayed again. So, now, I don't know whether I'm going to have to split this into two parts like the last one. I don't think there's as many as I did in September, but it is quite a lot, and I don't want the videos to stretch on forever, so get on with it. Right, first off, I'm going to start off with some loose horror-ish type related titles that I picked up in October, being the month of horror. And Abigail I had before, by the way, one of my new favourite horror films. The first one up is an oldie and not that horrific, but good starter for 10, and I've not ever seen it, but I have seen the first, and that is Goosebumps 2. I don't know how this compares to Goosebumps the original, but the original I did enjoy very much. But I'm not sure. I don't think this has got Jack Black returning in his role, and I thought he did an awful lot to make the first one. I like him quite a lot. So, no, going to give this one a good go. It's only PG, so hardly going to worry me too much. Next up, probably wouldn't put this one up, and it is subtly covered up by the printers with wisps of smoke, but you know, just in case YouTube get over enthusiastic with their censoring, this is Satan's Slave. Fantastic restoration and loads of extras. There you can see that side. That's alright, that one. 18 rated for sexual threat and sexualized violence. You can see that's like it's all carefully covered up by the title, and there's a wisp of smoke going underneath my finger. It's like I said, it's got great extras, being an indicator title, including comparisons of the cut version and the non-cut version, and where they've extended sequences, do side by side. It's really good watch. The deletes, the censoring featurette, and it's got both versions on here, which is the director's cut and the export version. The weird thing is the director's cut's actually slightly shorter. I think one of the sequences he actually preferred the cut down, less intense scene, whereas the other scenes, the other parts, he actually put in the more intense scenes. But it was quite interesting watching both. Well, I can't remember which one I watched. Yes, I actually watched The New Purchase, but it was sad to say, despite the extras, not particularly good. I felt it was pretty basic, quite predictable near the end, and there's obviously a bit of some nudity, this, that, and the other, witches being burned, that sort of thing, which is why you've got the 18 rating. But overall, wasn't too impressed, though the lead lady was very attractive. Next up, I completed my X trilogy with Maxine. Big discussion still going on between myself and other people. Is Maxine spelt with 3 X's because it's the third X film, or is it because she's starring as an adult film star in the film? Or is it both? And they're being very, very clever. Anyway, I've still yet to watch the first two, but now I have all three. I'm intending to sit down and have a proper watch of them in order. This one is an import. To me, it's quite interesting, and it's one I'm really looking forward to seeing, actually. It's called, on the front, Nous sommes la nuit. Obviously, that's in French. So I believe that translates as "we own the night" or "we are the night," "we are whatever. So, vampire movie. What's interesting is they only released this on DVD in the UK, or they didn't release it at all. I can't remember. I'll put it up here if I think about it and have a look. Sadly, it's a German film, but the German release, being as the Germans often do, the German release was only in German and wasn't English friendly. It didn't have an English dub or English subtitles. So luckily I found this French release which has the original German, which I can't, a dub in French, but it also has a dub in English and subtitles in French, but hopefully I won't need those if I've actually can listen to it in English. DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Looks quite interesting. Trio of vampires, the new person joining their ranks. Lots of blood. So yeah. And as I mentioned, I've actually have watched one or two recently, and I'm trying to organise my time so I don't just use up my time after I should be sensibly going to bed. I can't sleep very well. I'm a bit of my sleeping patterns are all out of whack, so I'm staying up too late while I'm doing this video at X in the morning. But often I don't actually use the time particularly wisely, end up just watching wallpaper TV to help relax myself at the end of the day. But it's also, if I planned in watching recently a couple of movies that were reasonably short, and intend to keep on doing that so I can get to actually watch some of the stuff I'm picking up recently, especially some of the shorter stuff. This is an import, though I know you can get it in the UK. I got the first season of this from the US, and I wanted to get the second season as the same to match. Now, I am not a big, if it doesn't have a slip, I won't buy it type person normally. But when I got the first season of this from America, it came with the slip, and it was a very, very nice slip. Getting around to what it actually is, and that is the season 2 of Interview with the Vampire. And as you'll see, that's a lovely slip with embossed metallic gold title. That's absolutely gorgeous. Sadly, there's nothing else on there that's embossed where it could be. I think that's similar to the first one where there could have been more. Also, the same thing with Anne Rice's, is it the Mayfair Witches or the Witches of Mayfair, which came out, season 1 came out at around the same time, I think, as season 1 of this, but season 2 is a little bit later and isn't out yet. That too I imported, and it's got another, again, it's got this gorgeous slip cover design with embossed metallic title, and the only thing that could have been better would have been if they'd also metallicized the jewellery piece around her neck on that one. And yeah, I think the cover of the Inner Eye is very similar to the UK. It's just the same picture, but obviously I really liked that strip, especially since I had the first one. I wanted to make them match. And even on the back, actually, you can see the spot gloss down the bottom and the gold. There, some of the pictures. Very nice indeed. Going on. If I'm absolutely honest, I picked this one up because I wanted to. I heard that I need to watch it before I watch the second, which is a better movie. And this is Smile, and that's in 4K. It's on Steelbook. That's I hear that it's not certainly not as good as the second one, and feels rather overly long. But it's quite important to watch this one before you watch the second one. It certainly gives you a better understanding. And I have pre-ordered the Steelbook for the second one, which is being released relatively early next year, I believe. So yeah, that's the Steelbook. Next up, another series that I keep on meaning to actually watch, and still haven't got around to it, but I wanted to get a few of them to get the idea. And that's A Quiet Place. This is the HMV exclusive. To a lot of people, their design was not very imaginative, just a black squiggly sound wave type thing across, which they've done before, black on red, which is, I must admit, does seem to be a modern trope, black on red at the moment, or red on black. The regular Steelbook of this, I believe, has a sound wave of red on black, with one of the protagonists' face on the actual sound wave part. But I personally think that this one is much underrated because you don't realise, oh sorry I didn't show you do it before, you don't realise that the sound wave is actually made up of the New York skyline reflected, which I think is rather clever given its New York set. You've got the Statue of Liberty here, and where's the? Oh, I can't. Where else can I spot anything? I think that might be the Chrysler Building. I should recognise it. I have actually been there. It was a fantastic trip. And you can actually see at the top where the invasion force is coming down, and small black dots breaking away are the helicopters in defence. So yeah, I think actually at first glance it might not look that imaginative, but I think actually did someone, even if you don't like it, I think somebody did put some thought in, and personally I do like the design. And it sort of matches up with one of the ones for Quiet Place 2, I think it is. Though I think that they put the sound wave on the back on that one. Next up is something a little bit different, and I haven't put it in a protective case yet, and please don't tell me off too much, but the reason is I ordered a whole batch of Steelbook protectors because they'd just run out, and I expected them to come through quite quickly, and Steelbook Central have had a problem with sourcing them and back orders and whatnot. In fact, I'm not sure they're taking orders at the moment. I got in just in time. So anyway, this is an order from Plumeria Pictures website. They do their own output of some films are a very, very small label. They usually take similar discs and just maybe add a little tiny bit to them, and then put their own slip cover on, which is sort of like a very minimalist design, but it's quite nice. They match. But this one, I think was originally a Zavvi exclusive, but for some reason or other they have a few copies. But not only did they have a few copies, you could buy one with the lead actress's signature on. I don't know if you can see that there, squiggled in the thick red pen. This is called, obviously, The Woman, about a lawyer who finds a wild feral woman in a woodland stream near his isolated country home, and decides, what a good idea, let's capture her, chain her up, and put her in the cellar underneath his house, intending to tame and civilise her. And this is with the approval, apparently, or agreement of his family who live there as well. I mean, goodness knows what they were thinking. But apparently it all gets a bit brutal showdown, as you might imagine. This, I didn't realise, and in fact a lot of the reviewers I don't think realised, was either a prequel or sequel to a more famous film. And I'll have to put that up there. And again, I did look it up, but I didn't. I forgot to bring my notes, I'm afraid. It's got a commentary, making of deleted scenes, and a short film on which it's based. And it's got lots of strong bloody violence, gore, and sexual violence. And it's just a mere 99 minutes, so it could be one I could watch. You can get the one without a signature on it for exactly the same price. From the same place, but I think it's sold out elsewhere, so I was happy to get it. Though if you actually want this and the other film it's paired with, I believe there is now a 4K double pack of them, so that's probably much better value and higher quality image, though it's always nice to have a still signed. So there you go. And that is the end of my horror pickups. So on to sort of more regular content. So back to my one of my catch-all t-shirts. I don't think I have got any particularly boutique labels apart from the indicator one I showed earlier. So it's not going to work, but it's Blu-rays. Anyway, I'm not normally a big fan of disaster movies, but my wife is, so I thought I would pick up one that has come out recently, and because we didn't get to see at the cinema. I think she wanted to see it, but we couldn't get there, and that is Twisters. As you can tell, we have watched this, and I'm sure you've seen other people's unboxings where it's nicely debossed on the title there. I think this is one of the first where I decided to start putting the paper slip. Rather, J-card's a bit different, but the paper slip I'm just taking off and now folding and putting inside, because the artwork is it's nice to have nicer artwork. And it does tend to catch on the fold on the inside of the protective case. When you go into it, it tends to rip. I'd rather have a gentle fold than do that. I enjoyed it. I haven't seen the first one, so can't really compare, but I was really pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. Yes, it was quite predictable which way it was going to go, etc. Who was going to fall in love with who was going to sort of like suddenly realise what their mistakes were, etc., etc. But it was a great. It was an enjoyable movie, and it had great special effects. And it was, like I said, not normally a big disaster movie type fan, but did really enjoy that. So I thought I'd pick up another one. Glutton for it, and I've been told this is a very good one, and my wife hasn't seen this one yet, and we haven't watched it together. We haven't had the chance, and that's probably had a chance, but we haven't done it. Here's 2012. I think a lot of anybody who is a disaster movie fan, I don't know, Colleen 9 did a recent video. I'll put a link below about his favourite disaster movies, and that's a useful kicking off point for me for future releases. This one, like I said, I believe it's widely liked, and it's got decent special features here with commentary by the director and co-writer, featurettes about designing the end of the world, science behind it, the end of the world, the actor's perspective, alternate ending, and deleted scenes. It's even got picture-in-picture with pre-visualization storyboard, which sounds quite interesting. You don't get many picture-in-picture things in use nowadays. The technology is there to use them, but the effort, I think, has gone out of a lot of physical media production now, and they just don't seem to put the effort into using all the technological features that they can. And don't get me started on the fact that when they do a 4K and they say extended version on the front, they only put the 4K of the theatrical in there, and then they put the extended one that they're talking about on the front cover. It's just on the Blu-ray, because the Blu-ray already has, they put the effort in on the Blu-ray already to do the extended cut, and it only costs them another £1 or so to throw the Blu-ray in, which they're going to anyway for the extras, and then they can claim on the front that includes extended version, but you don't get to watch it in 4K. And the 4K standard, I believe, does have a standard where you can use seamless branching to watch, to split it into two different versions. So why don't they use it? Because they're lazy, and they're just trying to be cheap. Next up, one that I don't think many people will have picked up. This is essentially the Chinese rip-off of Top Gun, called Born to Fly. Undergo, rigorous training, test pilots, this, that and the other, testing the latest fighter jets, all that sort of stuff. Adrenaline fueled ride. It has got apparently very good flying sequences, but I think if I remember correctly, yes, I'm right, on recollection, if you were expecting this to have just because it's released in the UK to 12, be English friendly, then it's got English subtitles, but the main language is still only in Mandarin. Next up is one I've been meaning to pick up for an absolute age. Therefore, I was really surprised it still came with a slip cover, which is a very highly regarded, if very weird indeed, movie, Poor Things. Now, I can't remember, did actually Emma Stone get an award for her role in this? I cannot remember. But I know that everybody said she should. Just though the movie itself is very, very weird. If I recall correctly, one of the reasons I was holding off on it was that compared to the original version shown when it was released, so to speak, at the festivals where it was a huge hit, the UK censors, who are the most forthright in the world when it comes to this sort of area, said that because one of the scenes involved children in the same room as a couple having sex, it might come under child pornography laws. However, I believe the UK version isn't different than any other version around the world, because the distributor took the UK BBFC comments to heart and changed all the versions that it actually theatrically released or around the world. So we have got the same one as everybody else, but I don't think it's the same as was originally, if you like, produced for the festivals where it made its huge impact and was winning awards left, right and centre. And it's got some deleted scenes and a couple of featurettes in there. But obviously it still has the 18 rating for the strong sex, the nudity and the very strong language in its retelling of a very, very strange telling of sort of Frankenstein type story with more sex. Next up, did I mention? Yes, I did, that I'd actually got to watch a couple of films recently, and I decided I would watch this one. It's called The Duchess, and I thoroughly enjoyed this revenge crime thriller, though unlike normal revenge thrillers where the event that sets off the revenge usually happens relatively early on in the movie. In this 114-minute long movie, it doesn't actually happen until just before the last half hour or so. It's a sort of gangster, set in the East End gangster type scene, very much in the style or reminded me a lot of the Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels type oeuvre. And this one is directed by Neil Marshall of The Descent, and didn't he direct Dog Soldiers, I think? Also starring, it's also stars Stephanie Beacham as a crime syndicate leader who you really don't want to mess with. Cole Meany from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and Layer Cake as the protagonist's jailbird father, and Sean Pertwee from Equilibrium and Gotham and Dog Soldiers. Good movie, lots of stylistic touches, which I really enjoyed, with the introducing new characters and putting their name up on, and putting their name and nickname from the underworld up, and sort of having that little voiceover pause of Jimmy the Snake, blah blah blah, and where they have a voiceover and say sort of like why he got his nickname and stuff. And though I'm normally not a huge mafia gangster type person, like I said, really enjoyed this. I do recommend it. This next one was a wife's pick, which is doesn't happen that often, but so when it does, I say absolutely. And that is Hidden Figures. I should really have checked that before I turned it around. It's based on the untold true story of various women working behind the scenes at NASA during the space race, and it was absolutely appalling the way they were treated, not only because they were women but because they were African American, forced to use, you know, different, almost apartheid type situation with where they ate and had to go for breaks and that sort of thing. Like I said, haven't seen it, so you can say it's still sealed. But in actual fact, the reason it was actually chosen, though it does sound like the sort of things you'd like to watch anyway, was that she was asking, well, she has all her information. I think she was asking if there's someone at work or her hairdresser, do you know any films with the or series with the actor who plays Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory? And apparently he is in this. So yes, so he said I quite fancy watching that at some point, and I thought, right, well, that's reasonably easy to sort out, and I bought it. Hidden Figures. Next up, another import, and yeah, it's import from the US, and it's a very nice cover, and I really liked it. I haven't undone it yet, and I'm not sure which bit is on the plastic slip, which I can tell it's got, because it hasn't got a side bit. But that is Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. That's the US Steelbook cover. I don't think we've got a Steelbook. This is the 4K Blu-ray and digital. The digital code will go to Ray's Movies page for a giveaway when I've opened it, and I'll put a link down to her YouTube page in the description below as well, which is a very nice page, and especially if you are also not only interested in a nice eclectic mix of films that she picks up and is brutally honest about what she thinks of them, which is always nice. But if you like also watching video game playthroughs, she's got fantastic ones going on at the moment. I haven't seen it. Oh no, it's about the formation of the SAS. I'm talking about the series that they did on the BBC about the formation of the SAS. I think that's about to get season 2, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested. Next up, back to one of my favourite programmes of all time, and that is Doctor Who. This is the first of upgrades. This is upgrading from the separate DVDs into the special edition version of the Blu-ray set. The extras on this, almost all of the DVD extras are carried over. There are a very small minority that aren't. I think there's one to do with the Jimmy Savile controversy, obviously, that was slightly re-edited for the Blu-ray for obvious reasons, and it also has masses and masses and masses of extra features just on the Blu-rays. So though this is not my favourite Doctor, and this one's only got 4 serials in it, which are Remembrance of the Daleks, Happiness Patrol, Silver Nemesis, and The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And that mainly makes up 14 episodes. And it is still going up in price. They do charge an awful lot for these, especially these special editions before the thinner and much more easy to collect, but did I think of that when I first started? No. Those are all the extras on the back, I think. Am I right in saying? Yeah. That's just the, I think that's just the Blu-ray extra material on top of the stuff that was on the DVDs that they've ported over. So pretty impressive. Yeah, that little bit of underneath says that these are the loads of extras that we've all ported over from the DVD. This is all new for the Blu-rays. So yeah, and it might only be 4 serials, but it's on 8 discs because some of them are using updated special effects. There's individual discs for just for extras, and there's recut versions and things like that. So absolutely fantastic. Like I say, huge fan of Doctor Who. I've grown up with it my whole life, always being a huge fan. And like I said, a couple more upgrades. I've been meaning to pick up this upgrade for quite some time, but I thought to myself, the Blu-ray's pretty good to start with, to be honest, so I'm not paying out a fortune, and that is The Man from U.N.C.L.E. But it really came down in price in a sale recently, so I thought pick up the 4K whilst it's cheap and upgrade, and why not? I really enjoy this. It did very badly in its battle with Mission Impossible when it was released. I think though it hoped to be the sort of the same thing next Mission Impossible. I heard rumours that Tom Cruise actually turned down Man from U.N.C.L.E. and decided to do Mission Impossible instead. If he did, a very, very wise decision, considering this never got its sequel, even very, very badly. I think a lot of which was down to very, very poor advertising aimed at the wrong people and bad timing. Essentially, they kept it in the 60s, and it was actually brilliantly shot for the 60s, which probably cost them more money to reproduce all the 60s look, and then they made it more, though they made it more like action packed like today to bring it up to date, but then their audience they weren't sure of. And finally, and I think I've probably run over time, but I just have again, and that is one I've been meaning to pick up for a long time, because it's a film I really, really like, and it's the 4K Steelbook from America. Therefore, it's got another digital code for Ray when I open it, and that is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I've updated this a number of times over the years. Really like this. In actual fact, it's the first Blu-ray I ever bought, and obviously updated over the years. I can't remember whether I went via Blu-ray to Blu-ray Steelbook or straight to Blu-ray Steelbook, but now I've got the 4K Steelbook. This is like I said, the American one. So it's got great extras with 2 feature-length audio commentaries, intro from the director, deleted scenes, making ofs, retrospective, music videos, and an interview with Michelle Yeoh, who is one of the main protagonists, along with Chow Yun-fat, one of my favourite Asian actors. And that, you'd probably be relieved to see, looking at the clock, is that. Thank thank you ever so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I can't remember, but I might be a few less to purchase for next month, or the month we're on, November now, isn't it? Yes. So try to keep the video a little bit shorter for you, but if you did like it, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel. And if you would like to leave a comment, I'd really appreciate it. I will reply to them all. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I would really appreciate that too. And I have a couple of new videos that are in the works, and I hope you will be interested in watching them. So like I said, please subscribe, because like I said, I've actually been watching stuff and I've been writing reviews, so I can do review videos now. And okay, thank you very much for watching again. Cheers then, bye.